Hi, welcome back to my vlog. Today we're interviewing Viridiana for the second video. Her first language is Spanish and she learned English. How old were you when you learned your second language?
Well, it was a process, I think. It started around third grade, so that would make me what?
Like like 7, 8?
Yeah, maybe like 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say I would have been like honestly fluent in English until like 6th grade. Whatever.
What was the most difficult part? Like the writing, the reading, the speaking?
It was so long ago. Probably the speaking, just certain pronunciations. Like I remember it was so embarrassing for me to say 3 because it was so hard for me to pronounce.
Yeah.
And then in science class we were going through learning what the utensils were, and then the thongs. I remember the first time I said tongues, tongues or something. People made fun of me. So I think for me the hardest thing was like pronunciation of certain words.
Okay. And how do you think your age impacted your language learning? Do you think if you had learned it at a younger age, it would have been easier, or it would have been a little bit harder, or if you had learned it at an older age?
Well, I don't think that it would have been any easier if I had been younger. I feel like if I had been younger, it probably would have been easier, but it would have taken longer, I think, because I don't think I had the mental capacity.
Okay.
I don't think.
Because
I feel like the age that I learned it was kind of perfect because I got to practice it with the people there, and also like kind of like the peer pressure of knowing they're saying stuff that I don't understand kind of gave me a bigger motivation to learn. But if I had definitely learned it at a later age, it would have been a lot harder.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you consider yourself bilingual?
Yes.
What type of bilingual? Do you know there's like different types of bilingualism?
I don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the definition of like bilingualism. Someone who learned 2 languages in their childhood. Like they were teaching you English and Spanish together. So, do you still consider yourself bilingual? Before the age of 4, that's someone who's bilingual.
Really?
Yeah, and then second language acquisition is someone who learned a second language after a certain age, like after your early ages.
What was the second division?
It's second language acquisition.
Oh, second language acquisition.
So I learned English when I was 8 years old. So I'm part of the study of second language acquisition because I wasn't bilingual before that. I was only a one language person. My second language came after. They were not teaching me 2 languages. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So do you still consider yourself bilingual?
Well, based on that definition, no.
No.
I guess not.
You're like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, when I was reading this, I was like,
You're like, oh what?
who lied to me? But you're not gonna go around telling people, oh, I'm SLA. It's like this. And now, which language do you consider to be your dominant language?
I would say English.
And how did your teachers in math or science classes help you learn your second language?
How?
Yeah, or was there any help from like your teachers?
I think in general, but I mean it was like 3rd grade.
So there wasn't you were not.
I don't have a distinct memory from the English and maths teachers versus the English and liberal arts teachers.
And do you, did you learn by like naturalistic, or did you take like private classes to learn English?
No, I wasn't natural.
Yeah, because like you said earlier, because of the peer pressure of wanting to know and stuff like that, correct? Was there any things that you, or like even now, that you try to avoid, like things that you avoid saying in your second language? Like certain words that you try to avoid them now, or before maybe? Well, before you say like.
I used to try to avoid the th sound, the 3.
And now you don't think you try to avoid anything?
No, well, I feel like that's just the kind of person I am. Like when there's something that's challenging for me, instead of avoiding it, I tend to work on it and do it more so that it gets better.
What are some similarities and differences that you find between both of your languages?
Well, actually, my Spanish has helped me a lot because especially like senior year, that's when I realized this, that sometimes because I used to have a bigger vocabulary in Spanish, than in English.
Yeah.
So then when I was writing and I would think of a word in Spanish, and like, oh, I want to use this word, so I would look it up. I would look it up in Spanish and realize that it had like
Similar.
it had a similar English word, because I guess it's based off the Latin. So I guess I did realize that there's a lot of words that are derived from Latin that are very similar
In both languages.
So it helped me expand my vocabulary, because I feel like with my family, my mom especially, I don't know why, she knew a lot of big words that I had heard and I was familiar with, and that I didn't know were words in English, but it turns out that they were
Like similar, very similar. Okay. How do you think speakers of English helped you the most in your second language learning? I guess like your friends or people that you knew that spoke Spanish. Spoke English.
Yeah, I think what they helped me more with anything was learning the correct uses of certain words. Like I still remember this one time, because and this is another thing, going back to what you said about the differences. There are words that sound the same, but they mean completely different things. So that's kind of funny, and I think it's interesting too. But certain words that sound the same, they mean the same thing, but certain words that sound the same are very different. So for example, like I remember this was already in high school, so I was probably like a junior. So I was estaba constipada, right? So like in your nose, right? So I couldn't say it right. And so I told Lauren, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, do you have a napkin? Because I'm constipated. And she laughed, and I was like, what? Why are you laughing? And she's like, you're constipated. Why are you telling me this? And I was like, yeah, I can't breathe. She's like, that's congested. She's like, constipated is when you can't go to the restaurant. I was like, oh no, it's not that. So they helped me, because even though I thought I had realized the connection between the two words, it was completely different. So I think they helped me a lot in I guess the appropriate use of many words.
And I also know you were like, when you were in high school, like, or after high school, you went to Germany, correct? Or where was it? Norway, there. Germany. Anyways, and you were there for how long?
Like 10 days.
10 days, okay. And did you catch any words that were like similar to like English or Spanish, or you think that like if you had lived there longer or anything like that, you would have been able to speak their language?
I didn't catch any similarities. I don't think their languages derive off of Latin. No, I mean I wasn't there that long either, but no, well, maybe because like night is like not for them. What else? Their thank you, they say guten Tag, which is I guess it's kind of similar to thanks Tag.
Yeah.
But I do think if I had been there long enough, I'm sure that if I had been there long enough, I would have at least learned enough to communicate. Maybe not enough to like be able to like do the transition and thinking where you're thinking in English, but I think maybe at some point. Yeah, a little bit.
Even though you were older, right? Older than when you learned English, you think the process would have still been like?
Well, I don't think it would have been as easy. Definitely, it would not have been. It would have been harder for me to learn Norwegian at this point in my life than if I had learned it when I was younger. But I do like to believe that I exercised my capacities enough to have been able to
learn enough.